Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
Howdy.
Howdy. Gal is here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And Spence is here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Cold day out there.
Also brought to you by Electrons.
Yeah.
Is it cold? Oh my gosh, 31 degrees. Yeah, it's cold.
It
was
35 here.
it was-
I guess so.
How much? Oh,
35.
nice. Nice.
Chilly at
You
the
got a
coast.
heat wave.
No, it was this week. What day was it? Tuesday? No, Thursday. It was like 78 here. Very warm.
Yeah, it was really warm here too, and I was kind of over it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my gosh, shut
I
up.
love,
What are you-
I
oh,
love
over it.
nice weather,
Ah.
but I want my sweater weather. Like I want my opportunity to wear my sweater. So
Katie,
That's
it's get over. You live. They move to New York or
no, you don't
Pennsylvania or
understand.
Ohio.
I like this. North Carolina's perfect. Maybe Virginia's even more perfect. I like to have the seasons. And so I wear my shorts in the summer until I get tired of wearing shorts and I want to wear sweatpants. And then it gets cold in the fall, so I can wear my sweatpants. And then I can wear my hoodies. And then I get tired of wearing that. And it all cycles through. I don't want one extreme or the other.
So
Variety.
the saying here is you can't win them all.
It is.
It just gives me a reason to complain. And complaining
Yeah,
is
okay.
fun.
Fine.
So, did anybody have a disaster at their work on Friday with their computer?
Oh, why?
Oh, did you?
What are we talking-
Did nobody heard about the Microsoft Defender update?
Oh, that it was making files disappear. Yeah.
It inside of our corporate entity, it deleted every program from every single computer on our domain.
Wow.
What?
This Defender rule was deleting shortcuts and applications from computers that got it. And at the radio station, it deleted Chrome, it deleted our audio system, OpX, it deleted Audacity and Ocean Audio and all
Just the shortcuts?
No, and the program. It was deleting the program files too.
And
It
the
deleted the
settings?
shortcuts and the program files.
And
It
the
was a
settings?
huge.
Did
I
it-
don't know. I mean, fortunately, it didn't affect the computers that run the audio are not on the domain. They're on a completely they don't even have internet access. They're on a completely separate network. So that stuff wasn't a problem.
So
this
could-
Defender update.
Could the problem be that it's only computers that are on a domain?
It was correct. It was computers at least from how it was explained to me was specifically computers on the new Azure cloud domain
Oh.
that
Mm.
Microsoft offers.
So it's
Where-
their service. Yeah. Okay.
but it wasn't their service. It was this, and I'll throw a link in the chat to it over at Bleeping Computer. It was a Defender update that would delete application shortcuts and also cause issues where apps wouldn't even launch. Like for example, my Audacity shortcut disappeared, so I went into program files and I couldn't open the application. It was just gone.
So what did you do at that point?
Nothing. We had to wait. It took Microsoft put out a fix, and it took I don't know. Hopefully, it's fixed when I get in on Monday. I bring it
Oh,
in.
okay. So you didn't try to reinstall it or something
I
like
couldn't.
that?
It's a domain. It's a.
Okay.
It's it's an
Yeah.
IT infrastructure. I'm
Yeah.
not an admin.
Yeah.
It's so it apparently wreaked havoc, or not apparently. It absolutely wreaked havoc.
So did this go out to the general public or just?
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
it
that
did?
was an update.
I know.
Yeah, it was
but
a Defender
I
update.
thought it might be something that was available to IT folks to run on their own. You know how sometimes they'll hold off on updates till they can study them and then they'll blow them all out there at once.
Their tweet, which they put out at 9:50 a.m. on Friday, the revert is in progress and may take several hours to complete. We recommend placing the offending ASR rule into audit mode to prevent further impacts until the deployment has been completed. We're reviewing options to expedite the deployment of changes, which contains the reverted rule. We still recommend that you put it in audit mode. Then they tweeted out at 5 p.m. on Friday. The fix has been completed. It's in and it's been deployed, which will prevent additional impacts from occurring. We're also continuing to investigate the issue. What a freaking disaster.
So did
Wow.
you have to or did the companies have to update? Like, did they force the Defender update?
I'm sure it was part of just the,
Routine.
there's a Microsoft is supposed to, we know how that works. They're supposed to check this stuff. They push it out to the domain, and then, unless if it's tagged, it will update.
Mm.
So another situation of individuals being QA.
Yeah, and what was it also about the airline? Not the airline. The
The NOTAR system.
Notem.
it
Notem
went
system.
down
Notice
because
to
of
airmen.
corrupted
That's what it used to be
file?
called, Spence. Not anymore.
It's not called that anymore?
No, it's called now it's called notice to air mission because men is sexist.
Oh, give me a break.
Nope, that's what it's called.
I call it notice to airplanes.
Well, no, then they have to change the acronym. So they changed men to mission.
I thought they were saying that it was the FAA computer
It was.
that
They run the service.
Yeah. because
And-
of a
and did
corrupted
I-
file.
Is it true that the system in Canada went down too?
That I don't.
I don't-
I heard someone say, and I haven't studied this to verify, that the system in Canada and in the UK all were affected, and they're supposed to be separate systems. So people said, "Oh," right away they said, "This is no signs of this being hacked," and yet the two other systems, which are supposed to be independent, went down. So I got to look to see if that's true. I just saw that as I was browsing, I noticed that I didn't research it.
Yeah.
Having all kinds of problems.
Oh well. That's computers.
Well,
Always problems.
a couple of things. With the Microsoft update, it just goes to show you how little and this is not the first time that Microsoft has put out a complete botch of an update. If it's a Windows update, normally it's Windows updates that cause these problems. I'm not sure that I've seen one like this for Defender, right? Because Windows updates have more of a from a administrator standpoint. If you're administering a network or a computer system, you don't just typically push out updates immediately. No, they sit in queue for a while, and then once you do it once or twice a month, and you push out the update. But a Defender update, which is constantly updating as you need it to, because there's new definitions for antivirus and things. I'm not sure that I've seen something as serious with a AV update. It's very odd.
Yeah, and if it deletes anything other than programs, applications which you can reinstall, that's bad because settings and data like that is let's go. Well, yeah, you can go to a backup, but that's bad. Absolutely, I agree with you, Nick. This
So
is like the old Trojan horses that we call it. You would download something and you run it and it just erases your drive, formats your drive. That's maybe we'll find out what happened later on when they.
Oh, we know what happened. It was there was an error there was an issue with the rule, and it was deleting programs. I mean, it was just a poorly written,
Yeah, I
some
know.
sort of poorly written statement.
I'm wondering if they'll let people know how it happened, how did that rule was there all the time, and they just tweaked something, and that's what happened, or did somebody decided to put? I don't know.
So
It's interesting.
the bleeping computer article says that it didn't actually erase the programs, but it did erase the start of the shortcuts from the desktop start menu and taskbar.
I had that, but I also the programs themselves.
So,
Like Chrome.
wow, yeah.
Chrome was just
Mm.
gone.
Yeah, the article that I read said that files were disappearing. So you can read it either way. But any way you read it, it's bad.
How are we going to survive as a society if we rely so
Oh,
heavily on stuff that
we'll
can,
we'll
that can
adjust.
just drop?
We'll adjust.
Yeah, well, hang
Back
on.
up.
I'll invite you over once a week for our fire outside, so you can stay warm.
Backups,
Yeah.
backups.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I don't disagree with backups, but what I was talking about with my we have an on-site engineer and who kind of handles our IT, but IT is done at a corporate level, as you can imagine. But he's the local person for it. And it's not that, Microsoft was pretty quick with telling you what to do. The problem is if you've got 5,000 computers in
Mhm.
your infrastructure, those all have to be manually touched.
Right.
It's not a quick process. It's not as easy as just, oh, let's just revert this back and it's solved. No, this is you're talking about pretty much an entire day on Friday, if probably
If not
more,
more, for
into the
probably
weekend,
yeah.
touching these endpoints and reverting back the changes.
Yeah, but
It's not just, for an individual computer. For example, if it happened to me here at home, I agree. Very simple. Roll back the Defender update, problem solved. Not as easy to do on a corporate domain infrastructure where end users don't have admin rights, which they shouldn't. And now that computer's got to be touched probably from an admin now as an endpoint.
So do you think they're pushing Defender off into the second tier of support, where I'm meaning they're not necessarily having it as a priority anymore? It's kind of like, we'll keep this going.
I hope not.
I
they've
know.
convinced everybody that they don't need to install antivirus. So
right.
It says here that Windows admins have had to deal with multiple Microsoft Defender endpoint false positives over the last couple of years.
Well, false positives, that's par for the course with AV. But when it's just deleting shortcuts and programs, to me, that's not even a false. It's poor. That's just poor development.
Yeah.
That's productivity, no?
Mhm. Counter. Yeah. Listen to this. A program trained with the help of artificial intelligence is set to help a defendant contest his case in a U.S. court next month. New scientists reported, and they're saying that instead of addressing the court, the program, which will run on a smartphone, will supply appropriate responses through an earpiece to the defendant, who can then use them in the courtroom. In a new development, a company, Do Not Pay, which has been training AI, has now claimed that its program will be able to defend a speeding case that is due to be heard in a U.S. court in February 2023. Identities of the individual and the court remain under wraps, but we do know that the defendant is contesting a speeding ticket. Since this is the AI very first case, Do Not Pay is ready to take on the burden of punishment if the AI advice does not help the client. Since it is a speeding ticket, Do Not Pay will pay for the speeding ticket. If it wins, though, it will have a massive victory to its credit. The real big question, though, is whether this is legal in the court of law.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
they said that I was reading another article, and they said that it is because you can use information with an earpiece.
so is that a smart courtroom then would now have jamming devices?
Well,
Wait, is that a robot lawyer? Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Because I'm
Yeah.
all for
This
that.
is Shakespeare. Let's kill all the lawyers, right?
Well,
Yeah.
think about all the ambulance chasers that are going to be out of work. Well, it's tough now being a lawyer. If they take away more of their work, they're
Oh,
not going to like that.
No, it means that the only lawyers that will actually remain are the specialized ones. The ones that, that deal with very, very complex stuff.
complex cases. Yeah.
Well, don't forget too, you've got real estate deals and all that. All that stuff requires heavy legal input as well. So
Well, I was
for
reading
things
about
like
how
traffic tickets, and here's the thing: you're saying, oh, it's a robot lawyer, but really, what this is somebody defending themselves, which
Right.
which people do for traffic tickets all the time. Now, if you're under a capital murder trial, I can't imagine that you're going to be using
No.
Chat GPT to not get you life without parole.
Right.
But for something where you could, and what a lot of people, there's books that you can buy on Amazon of how to defend yourself against a speed. It's like, get out of a speeding ticket 101 for dummies or something like that. I don't see much of a difference.
I'd
between
like
them.
to see the calibration records for that.
That's exactly, and it's all of that stuff.
radar gun.
Exactly. When was the last time it was calibrated? When was it maintained? Exactly. So
There's an alarming thing going on now in that people. I've read lawyers' commentary about this, and I say everything is going to plea bargaining now. Not everything, but most lawyers don't actually do any courtroom stuff anymore because they'll just meet. The defender will meet with the prosecutor and say, "Oh, let's come up with a plea deal done," because it's easy. So the people are losing the skill of actually working in a courtroom.
yeah, imagine that the government who's
Yeah.
trying cases doesn't want to actually try them, just wants to get a plea deal. Wow.
Well, and that
Col-
gives
color
them
the
a good
trial.
record. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
we got convictions 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Because you took a murder down to a traffic ticket.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like this. Okay, fine. I'm going to upload my attorney to your attorney and let them discuss.
Let them duke it out.
wait, you're describing battle bots, but battle bots for lawyers.
Oh,
For a while, it's probably going to be that way.
Yeah, maybe not
Yeah.
in our lifetime. Not in mine, anyway.
But don't be so sure. I mean, maybe it won't be in the courtroom, but you'll still see it. You'll see it fictionalized, and you'll see it in maybe controlled settings where reality TV like and stuff like that. You'll see it in your time before it becomes mainstream, before it becomes the way things are done.
I think we should set up a survey where we pick the most popular robots over the last 30 years in movies and TV, and what people pick which one they want to represent.
Data.
I want the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Did anybody see that movie?
Yeah, Melvin, the depressed robot.
Yes. Oh, I really don't
Irvin,
want to
yeah.
be here.
You had
That
me
was the-
watch some weird. You had me watch some weird movies. Spence, some '60s movie with an AI robot where it's like controlling and it's forcing the guy to stay in his house. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Cyclops. The
Oh no,
Colossal Project.
the Forbin Project. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Colossus
Forbin Project. That's the
Yes.
guy I want. I want him representing me. He
Yes.
rules with an iron fist.
That was a good movie.
It was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
the problem
very
is
forward
you
thinking.
do not decide whether he represents you or he sees you
Yeah.
as a threat. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's arguing with the prosecution. You're like, no, please
Yeah.
pull the plug. Shut off the internet. Stop.
Yeah.
That was the precursor to the whole Terminator thing with Skynet, because it
Yeah.
was the same. That was 15 years before that whole thing came out. Yeah.
Hmm. All right. Here's something else to think about. Malicious hackers have begun exploiting a critical vulnerability in unpatched version of the control panel. A widely
panel for
used
what?
interface.
Win-
What?
The Windows control panel?
Not the Windows, the
No.
hosting.
Web
when you-
hosting,
cPanel.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
cPanel. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cPanel.
Okay. Gotcha.
A widely used interface for web hosting. This is an unauthenticated RCE. Members of the Shadow Server group wrote on Twitter using the abbreviation for remote code exploit. Exploitation is trivial, and a POC published. POC refers to a proof of concept code that exploits the vulnerability. It's being tracked as CVE 2022-44877. It was discovered by Newman Turl of Gaze Cybersecurity and patched in October in version 0.9.8.1147. If you have a control panel on your web hosting, then write that number down, 0.9.8.1147, and see if your hosting company updated. Advisories didn't go public until earlier this month. Now, this is from October. An advisory didn't go to the public until earlier this month. However, making it likely some users still aren't aware of the threat. So, yeah, you need to pay attention to this. A lot of people that have websites like to have that control panel so they can control what to do, what to add, what to take out, and all that.
What's the version?
The version that was patched is 0.9.8.1147.
1147 is the version you should not have, or
No, that's the
update?
one that you should have. That's if it's anything like 1146 and below, it's not good.
What's weird? So my versioning on mine is just 106.0.
I don't know. That's interesting because it says patched in
You're
October.
safe. Your version is so old. There's so many other
Yeah.
issues with it that you're
That's
safe.
no, because I know that that's weird. I don't. There's a
Yeah, there's probably a different way of seeing it. So
yeah. I might not have access to that version number because I'm not.
Oh.
I'm
That
not
could
the
be.
web host. I'm just.
But yeah, this is bad because it's being used really by a lot of hosting companies.
cPanel's. This has always been the problem, if you'll call it, with cPanel. It's the same problem with WordPress. You've got
Yeah.
something that's very highly used, and a lot of people use it, so it's worth exploiting. It's the reason for
Right.
so long that there weren't really viruses for OS X and for Mac, because the market nobody was using it.
Right.
It wasn't worth the time to try and infect such a small user base. This is anything. I don't know.
Oh.
These stories kind of rub me the wrong way.
Well,
And I'm not saying it's not serious, but
it's serious for the users, for the customers.
yeah, but this is the reality of any sort of widely used
software.
Of any of these widely used systems.
Absolutely. And on the same line, cloud computing giant RackSpace has confirmed hackers accessed customer data during last month's ransomware attack. As the attack, which RackSpace first confirmed on December 6th, impacted the company's hosted Exchange email environment, forcing the web giant to shut down the hosted email service following the incident. At the time, RackSpace said it was unaware what, if any, data was affected. It is in its latest incident response update published last Friday, or that's actually Friday of week before. RackSpace admitted that the hackers gained access to the personal data of 27 customers. RackSpace said the hackers accessed PST files, typically used to store backup and archive copy of emails, calendar events, and contacts from Exchange accounts and email inboxes. they said that about 30,000 customers used its hosted exchange service, which it will now discontinue at the time of the ransomware attack. We have already communicated our findings to these customers proactively and importantly, according to CrowdStrike, where is no evidence that the threat actor actually viewed, obtained, misused, or disseminated any of the 27 hosted exchange customers, their emails, or data. The company added that customers that haven't been contacted directly can be assured their data was not accessed by attackers. So if you're on RackSpace and they did not get in touch with you, you're okay. But the interesting thing is that RackSpace said that it will discontinue hosted exchange services. That's
Makes
kind
sense.
of what?
Makes sense. It's not
Makes
worth
sense.
running.
It makes sense for them, but it's kind of bad for a lot of people out there.
I'll say this, and if you still want to host Exchange, you can. There's a lot of people that still do it, but it is not.
It's not
At this
the way
point in
to.
time, it is not. I don't believe that for a company. I don't believe that it's worth doing.
Right. It's too much trouble.
It's way too much trouble. It's way too susceptible to risk, and and for the end consumer, it's just a pain in the ass.
When
you
they
can't have it, you can't have it. You have to be very careful with what you allow into the public. So now you're having to use VPNs to check emails. 365. That's why Microsoft is pushing everybody to 365. So much less susceptible to some of these problems.
If you search Rackspace News right now on the searching engine, I'm using DuckDuckGo. This might be a death blow for them. It looks like
shouldn't.
they are. No, I'm serious. They are talking about. So the quotes are: Rackspace founder says it's on trajectory of death.
Yeah.
Right. So it sounds like they are in big trouble.
But no, but that's not because of this. This is just the latest blow. I mean, I read that article. Yeah. I mean, he says that for some time they've been going down.
That's not good. Rackspace is a very popular. I don't even know what I guess call them a service provider. I guess. I mean, they provide VPSs and standard service. That's
the thing.
Problem.
Think about a huge company like that going down. I mean, I don't see Rackspace disappearing. What do I mean? I don't see a point where there's a fire sale on the hardware. People are just enjoying some cheap hardware for a month. It sounds to me the only way Rackspace will disappear is by brand, and somebody will buy the
assets,
the data centers, and do something else with it. Either just take over the existing clientele, or somehow start from scratch. But I think the legal ramification of starting from scratch is probably going to be so expensive that probably won't happen. So it's not that they're too big to fail; it's they're too big to fail their customers at this point. Some form of it will probably continue.
Yeah,
but it is alarming.
And I'm sure that they made out like bandits in the back in the past. I mean, there's a lot of people there. When you're talking about 30,000, just that. I mean, that's amazing. And I don't think they're only in the States. But I'm not sure.
I remember hearing of Rackspace back when I was in Israel, thinking of hosting, and I think they had more than one location to host France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next. The FCC is continuing to battle against illegal robocalls. In the latest move, The agency last Wednesday issued cease and desist warning to 2 more companies. The warning letters indicated that voice service providers Symphony and Voltic must end their apparent support of illegal robocall traffic or face serious consequences. That's according to an FCC announcement. The FCC says its investigations show that Voltic and Symphony have allowed illegal robocalls to originate from their network. Each provider must take immediate action and inform the FCC of the active steps it's taking to mitigate illegal robocalls. If either fails to comply with steps and rules outlined in the letters, its call traffic may be permanently blocked.
Where do they operate out of? Do you know?
No, I don't. I didn't go to.
What was the name of them again?
It's Symphonies. SIPPHONY.
I believe these guys are out of Texas.
Okay.
I feel like this was the company that was in the news years ago for one of these things, I think.
And Voltic.
One of them I think was in
VOLTIK.
Texas.
What?
Yeah. I know one of the companies that was essentially the wholesaler for robocalling was in the United States.
That sounds like a bad business plan.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a bad business plan until you get sued. They're making a fortune. I mean, these
Yeah.
robocalls, they're making millions on these robocalls.
Right.
Wait, how? Like scamming people?
No, by selling the service to the scammers. Yeah.
Oh
if
my
you're a
gosh.
scammer, there's not many companies that will work with you. These guys will. So that's where you go.
Yeah.
So
and
they
you pay.
provide.
But they're Texas. They're not part of the U.S. Come on.
That's true. So Katie, what they do is they have they provide a trunk line to those businesses using SIP lines. SIP is Session Initiation Protocol, where it's an IP call that they place from a big call server that says, okay, thousands per second. They'll set up these sessions, a SIP call to go to, and they can go through every number that exists, just right down the line. And you'll see them come, and they can originate from anywhere. They can spoof any location.
Oh my gosh.
Meaning they can say, oh, this call is coming from Lumberton, North Carolina. This call is coming from Washington, D.C. Anything they want to do, they can do it.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap now to do. It's incredibly cheap.
And easy. Easy
Easy,
is the key here. Yeah. John was asking me last Friday about what can he do if he wants to disconnect his DirectTV because he's paying too much. So I told him to get an antenna, this and that, and I'm preparing for the show. And that article came up. DirectTV is laying off hundreds of employees, roughly 10% of its upper ranks, as the company looks to reduce costs amid the heightened pain of cord cutting for pay TV providers, according to people familiar
So it's John's fault?
Yeah. Most of the job cuts will be at the manager level.
Amen.
Citing an email to employees sent on Friday. Managers make up about half of DirectTV, fewer than 10,000 employees.
half
Yeah, more than half of DirectTV's fewer.
are managers.
Yeah, managers.
Wow.
One of
Because the technicians are third parties.
probably
They're not.
Probably, yeah,
they're
that's
not
true.
company
That's
they're
employees.
just
Yeah.
salespeople in DirectTV. Yeah. The affected employees say employees' last day will be January 20th. The entire pay TV industry is impacted by the secular decline and the increasing rates to secure and distribute programming.
I was reading, I don't know if it was Bloomberg or one of the big financial watch
Said,
companies that's out there was predicting now cord cutting is happening, but now people are cutting subscription services. Even like saying, well, I have 6 subscriptions. I can't really afford to do all of them. So I need to, and with Netflix's new,
Mhm.
you can't share beyond one site thing, people are saying, well, I don't need this anymore. So they're dropping it. So they think there's going to be take a major hit from the subscription side as, over the next couple of years with people, if the prices go up and people say, no, I don't need this.
Yeah.
One
So
of the other things with DirectTV that isn't noted in this article is that after 20 plus years of offering the NFL Sunday Ticket, which has been a huge revenue generator for them, that they've had the rights to the Sunday Ticket package. They lost it this year. That was up for bidding, and right before Christmas, actually YouTube TV spent like $1.5 billion or something for the rights for NFL Sunday Ticket. So that is going to be a huge, huge blow for DirectTV, not just with the consumers, but one of their huge revenue sources are bars and restaurants that pay a
Mhm.
different set of. For example, if you want the DirectTV Sunday Ticket, it's like $350 a year or something like that. It's expensive. If you're a bar or a restaurant and you want the NFL Sunday Ticket, it's thousands of dollars a year. So not only are they losing out on the income from the consumer that buys it, but now you're going to have bars and restaurants that, with 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 that sports package not being on DirectTV, why pay for DirectTV? Get a bunch of smart TVs, connect them to the internet, and use YouTube TV. Problem solved. So DirectTV is in a really, really bad state, but it's a lot of it is self-inflicted. So
So they're saying we are adjusting our operations costs to align with these changes and will continue to invest in new entertainment products and service enhancement.
I
DirecTV
heard
and
they're
its
going to have like
peers.
24-hour dog shows now.
Uh,
Dog, what do they call it? Like
they've been
Westminster.
DirecTV and its peers have long been under pressure as customers cut the cord and opt for streaming services. The rate of cord cutting accelerated in the third quarter, according to Moffett Nathanson. DirecTV reportedly lost around 500,000 customers in its most recent quarter. Think about it. 500,000 customers in one quarter, according to
this will get. I suspect that this will be this year. There's a lot of reports out that the economy is really going to take a very big downturn over the next, call it 8 to 20 some odd months or something of that nature within the next 2 years. That will accelerate this at such a rapid rate that you'll have some of these companies that will not withstand
survive. Yeah.
this. And as Spence mentioned, now you've got people cutting streaming services because of that. That will accelerate as well. I mean, when the going gets tough and the economy is in the toilet, which it will be, unfortunately, you'll be. Do you want to put food on your table, or do you want to have a subscription to Hulu? I mean, that's literally the decision that people are going to be making.
Some households will choose to keep the streaming and not eat.
I mean,
we'll charge.
I'm being
we'll do what?
facetious, but
No, say it again.
I said some households might take their streaming so seriously that they'll stick with that and eat less.
They might.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Maybe a cure to American obesity?
No, because guess what? You go to the grocery store right now, and a carton of a 12 carton of eggs is $9. So, or you could go to McDonald's and get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a pancake, a McGriddle for $1.50. So
McGriddles are so good.
They are phenomenal.
They put something in there to just
they do. It's called sugar. It's called maple syrup and sugar.
There's drugs involved with that. It's just too good.
Oh, the easiest drugs are salt, oil, and sugar. So no need for anything else. Yeah. Oil, like any fat. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. Inject it into my veins.
And those people that want to have the streaming and all that and illegal services can move to Belarus. Belarusian dictator Alexander Lukashenko has signed a new law that legalizes piracy of movies, music, TV shows, and software owned by right holders from unfriendly countries.
There we go.
Man, how are they going to
Amen.
decide?
I like it.
The law also allows goods protected by intellectual property law to be imported from any country without obtaining permission from rights holders.
We'll have
Can
to
you-
send our best lawyers over there and handle this.
So next week, I'll be doing the
So
show live
AI?
from Belarus. It's 6 p.m. there right now, so the time zone is changed. Works out great. That's phenomenal.
Amazing.
Be
Amazing.
speaking Russian, doing the show from Belarus with my illegal content. Well, I
Yep.
wonder what
Wow.
I wonder who their ISPs are, because that's you gotta, if you're gonna have essentially an entire industry move to Belarus, you need
Yeah.
some major infrastructure overhaul for ISPs maybe.
Yeah, but so no, this is interesting. So I understand how this will affect the Russian market, right?
Mhm.
Because everything's free for all. But does this mean, the way I see it, it means that on the U.S. side, right, companies are gonna file injunction left and right to just block complete blocks of IP that are coming from that region. This is the reason this is bad for everything. It's because it's going to create a segregated, like a really segregated internet, much more than the Chinese firewall, right? Which is mostly they're blocking things from coming in, right? Here, it's this is no small feat. This is trying to think of where is this going to go. This is rather interesting.
Maybe you'll
So
see
this is
maybe you'll see VPN providers block access to Belarus. 'Cause I can go on NordVPN and say I want my presence to come from there, and that's how people get around geographic restrictions in streaming services, right?
right,
Yeah, but you see,
right.
but look, NordVPN has a limited number of IPs. There were issued, I don't know how many, I have no idea how many, but they are known IPs. It's not like they're picking up from here and there. If I wanted to, if I knew the IPs, I could block anybody with VPN from coming into Delta Force.
That's what I'm saying. It could be that they go after VPN or go and ask
Well,
VPN providers to block access.
but it's a lot of work and a lot of research.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
wind up
but-
backfiring on them too. They might
All right.
be sanctioned for other stuff they don't want to get sanctioned for.
It's easy to go after the big guys like NordVPN, but then there's the random ass
Right.
VPN providers that are just renting virtual private servers in those countries of origin.
Yep.
You're not going to stop.
What we need to do is get a cargo plane, and we'll have individual TP-Link routers with little parachutes, and we'll fly over the country and drop them. Each of them has its own VPN server built in.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You can just
Like they drop food with the Berlin Wall. I mean, this is the equivalent.
Yeah.
Of, instead of
airdrop.
food, it's routers.
Didn't maybe I'm just misremembering, but didn't a country drop a bunch of USB drives somewhere and to
They
spread
used to drop them in
information?
parking lots. They would.
That was Iran.
Iran,
get Iranian
did they do that with
centrifuges.
Iran?
Yeah, that's how they
Yeah.
got access to the Iranian centrifuges back in the
Oh,
early 2000s or late 90s.
clever.
They put one of
Oh, you're
those
talking about the splinks. Yeah.
yeah, whatever. So it was some malware that was specifically coded to look for this centrifuge software that Iran had, and it eventually made its way into one of the Iranian nuclear sites, and boom, got on the network it needed to and wreaked havoc.
Yep. All right, Nick, are you ready for specials?
I am.
Yar.
I am.
All right.
Y'all yar.
So we've been talking a lot about toilets the last couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh.
If you're, we've talked about a lot of smart toilets. How about this? How about a PCB toilet?
Ouch.
Yeah,
Oh.
ouch is
Ouch.
right. You could you see you got a lot of cool little thing. You got a little LED at the bottom. You've got some chips on there, nice little unshielded fan, a couple of capacitors, maybe a nice little Christmas ornament
Oh,
for your
I
tree.
like the pressure sensors on the seat.
Is that what those are?
But, yeah. Have you ever seen the board of a remote control?
Oh
Or
yes,
the-
I see what
the-
you're saying. Yes,
Or the
Yeah,
membrane
little-
of your keyboard, right?
Yeah.
It's a,
Yeah,
it's a
the little
pressure
bubble
sensor.
switches or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
so
does this what's the power consumption on this thing?
that's a great question, Spence. We'll cover that
That's-
towards the end. I saw that
that's-
on
That's the modern electric chair.
but it's got a nice little blower fan on that probably a little 12-volt fan. So that's
Fries your butt.
Yeah, there you go. So saw that on a Facebook group this week. Thought it was rather. This is what happens when you've got people that don't have anything to do with their job and they've got access to PCBs. They do this. All right, let's get into specials for this Sunday, January the 15th. We started off over at Walmart with a Lenovo. This is their 3i. What is going? Hold on a second. My home assistant decided to start speaking to me. This is a Lenovo over at Walmart. It's a Core i3, so nothing too crazy. It is an 11th gen, so it is last generation Intel. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabyte SSD. This makes I have a very similar computer to this that I used for the better part of 2 years, and I was very happy with it. You can, it does everything that you need to do on the web. I've been used it for some light audio editing, and it worked totally fine. It's hard to beat at 229. Just be advised that with 4 gigs of RAM, it is not going to be the fastest computer in the world, and you're not going to be able to have 60 Chrome tabs opens. It will come to a screeching halt, but you can it'll still operate very well for that price. 229 available over at Walmart. An even lower tier, but this one is kind of in a whole different category itself, is the Gateway Notebook 11.6-inch touchscreen 2-in-1. How about this for a computer? So it'll completely fold in on top of itself, so that you can use it as a tablet. It's running an Intel Celeron N4020, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a 64 gigabyte hard drive, 64 gigabyte drive built into it. This CPU is not that old. It launched in Q1 of 2020, so it's a couple of years old, but it's not a 5-year-old chip.
What's
For
the
a
OS?
child, say that?
What's the OS?
It's Windows.
Windows 10 Home.
Windows 10. For a child, for a kid that you want that needs a computer for school, and you don't want to spend $200 or $300 to have something destroyed. This is great for them. This will be absolutely perfect. It's got the touchscreen built into it. It's actually got some decent I/O. It's got a mini HDMI, USB 3, a headphone jack. So it's even got some connectivity on it as well. $99.50 available at Walmart in store and online. You can pick this thing up today. It's unfortunately only this blue color is the one that's on sale.
And it says
the matte
hard
one.
drive. It doesn't say eMMC.
It is eMMC. It's not a
No,
spinning
it says,
drive.
it actually says HD.
It does say HD in the
Yeah.
description, but when you're looking at the description, it's a 64 gig eMMC
Yeah, fire
drive.
that
So
guy.
this is
Fire him out.
the quintessential Walmart posting. So it's on
I
rollback.
wonder-
So-
I mean, it has 4 gigabytes of RAM, and
Mhm.
on Windows, even Windows Home, like that's a problem, right? Things are going to be sluggish.
Yep.
But I wonder how I wonder how easy it is to install Linux on this,
Oh,
because
probably very easy.
then that is very like pushing, slapping Pop OS on it, and it can be a hell of a tablet, right? Like $100, you can do anything with that. You can spread them around the home and at strategic location, and it can be a controller for the home along with a media reader or a viewer. This is nice.
9 months ago, I'm looking at the Reddit R Gateway USA, and somebody installed Linux, Mint, and Ubuntu on this device. There were some problems with the touchscreen drivers, which is always going to be the problem, and some issues with the
Right.
sound. But it looks like they were able to get some stuff working on it. So, um, yeah, yeah, most definitely you could run Linux on this. You might not have all of the functionality immediately, but you probably could get Wi-Fi, all that other stuff seems to work fine. Um, like so, maybe this here we go. Let's do a little. Let's connect the dots here. Our next item. That laptop would be a perfect pair for our next item, which is the um, Ender Neo. This is a 3D printer from Creality. I've
Hmm.
got the Ender Pro 3, which I'm very happy with. This is their Neo, their newest version, one of their newer versions, on sale for $197.10. These 3D printers, it's nice to be able to have a computer connected to these. If not, you have to constantly put in a micro SD card, and it's a little bit of a pain. So if you're got, like, for example, mine's in my garage, maybe this gateway would make a nice computer to be connected to it all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's got an additional bed on it. Apparently, it's got some sort of auto leveling. It's got auto leveling built into it, which is a huge win. The biggest problem with 3D printing is leveling. This is a great 3D printer to get started with. This is, if I was going to buy a base tier 3D printer, this is what I would buy. I've got one. I've been very happy with it. Check it out directly from their website, on sale for $197. Next up,
How large is it? Like
let's see.
what's the size that it can print?
It
Trying
can
to look
Probably a
at it.
few inches.
No, it's bigger than that.
So strange. I can't find it clearly. I'm probably missing something
So
very
am I,
basic.
probably. I mine is about. I think my bed is about
Oh, the bed.
probably 14 inches or so. Um, Probably about 14 by 14, maybe. I don't know exactly. Somebody can look it up while I'm talking.
Yeah,
But
I'll try to find it.
all right,
Okay.
perfect. So let's moving on here. This is a really cheap KVM. A lot of folks have got old school KVMs that use PS2 for the keyboard and mouse and VGA, which is fine if you've got older computers. But if you've got new devices, you don't have a PS2 mouse or keyboard, and you might not even have a computer or a monitor that supports VGA. So here's a great deal on a Ribozen, whatever that brand is, KVM. This is a 2-in-1 KVM, so it'll support two different devices connected to it at a resolution of 4K at 30 hertz. So, the refresh rate's not crazy fast, but it supports 4K, which is phenomenal. You can connect two PCs to it. It's got four USB 2.0 ports where you can connect peripherals, including USB keyboards, and mice and anything else that you would power via USB. You simply plug in an HDMI cable to the computer, and then a USB B to A, the traditional printer cable, to the computer, and it'll pass through not only the signal, but also the USB to the device. Really good deal for just $12, $12.50. It's 50% off, available over at Amazon. Next up, if you're buying a new computer and it's got USB-C and maybe you need some more ports if you're using it at home or traveling with it, here's a monoprice USB-C travel dock. This thing has got quite the connectivity on it. It supports USB pass-through for charging. It's got a full-size Ethernet port as well as a full-size HDMI port, plus a VGA port. That's on one side. On the other side, it's got another USB-C for other USB-C devices. It's got a full-size SD and micro SD card, and then two USB 3.0 ports on it. So this thing has got pretty much any sort of connectivity that you could want from a USB dock. It's normally $70. It's on sale for just $32.50, and you can check that out over at Monoprice. But unfortunately, Amnon, for you, you can only buy 100 per customer. So if you need to buy more of these, you'll have to do two separate transactions. That's available directly over from Monoprice. Gal, how about this for you? 16 terabytes of storage for $250. This is the Seagate Exynos Enterprise drive. This is a 6 gigabit SATA hard drive running at 7,200 RPMs, 16 terabytes worth of storage. Normally, this thing is $600. You can get it on sale over at Monoprice for just $250, save 60%. You think that this would make a great drive for Plex for storing media? Yeah,
I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, you need two, right? You need redundancy.
You do need to. If you're going to do it properly, you need to. If it's media that or if it's media you're borrowing and you don't care about, maybe you don't need redundancy.
This is awesome. I mean, it's fantastic price per terabyte. But yeah, always remember you wanna double. Physically, you want 2 units always. So yeah, never cheap out and just buy one.
So for $500, if you got two, it's still cheaper than the base MSRP of one of these devices. So you can have 32 terabytes worth of storage if you're not doing any sort of mirroring or striping for the low price of just $500. That's available over at Newegg, that is. All right, Spence, I put this one in here for you. This is the Bluity solar generator and power bank. So inside of this, we've got two separate devices here. We've got the 268 watt hour, 600 watt battery solar generator that has got 220 volt, 600 watt AC outputs.
220, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Two of those at 120 volts, so regular plugs in for the wall. And plus a couple of other USB A's and some Type C, plus a DC barrel output jack. Plus, so you got the solar generator, the power bank, but then it also comes with a solar panel. So with this, you also get a 68 watt solar panel. It's not very big. It's a smaller unit, but pretty hard to beat. Both of these units, the battery itself plus the solar panel, for just $300. Normally this thing is $500 over at Amazon, and you're running a sale on it there. I looked at some of the reviews on this, and people seem to think it's really good for what they wanted it for. Some individuals seeming to indicate, this isn't what I expected. It wasn't what I wanted. You've got to make sure you know what you're plugging into this, what kind of hours you'll get, and what the recharge looks like with the solar panel. So it requires a little bit of research, but a pretty hard price to beat for $300.
I'm looking at the AC outlets. When you said 120, I thought you were saying it was 220 volts.
I'm sorry. No,
that's okay.
Traditional,
I misunderstood.
Two traditional.
Looks like the two plugs are not grounded on here, so keep that in mind. The two.
But fortunately, you set it on the ground and then it's grounded.
That's grounded. Then, yeah.
That's how electricity works.
Yes.
So, it's expensive. It's $300, but this is a cool device to play around with if you're interested in this kind of technology. This is a really good entry level device. If you're somebody that maybe camps with a tent, go out to a state park for a weekend, a device like this is a good start. Again, you're going to have to do your research as to what you're plugging into it, what kind of power it's going to draw, and how quickly this thing will recharge with a solar panel so that you're not misled.
great little survival device.
Great survival device. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it does come with the lithium iron PO4 batteries. Those batteries I was talking about earlier. It has the upgraded lithium batteries. So
not a bad price for
No,
300
no,
bucks,
very-
available
very
over
good.
at Amazon. I have been eyeing this next device for years now, and I see it at Costco all the time, and it's always on sale for 15 bucks. But now it's finally at a price in which I will buy it. It's, ladies and gentlemen, it's the OneTel Battery Daddy. You've seen this thing everywhere. I'm sure Amnon's got one of these. It'll hold 180 batteries, and comes with a battery tester, and it's always on sale for 15 bucks, but now it's on sale for $10. So I ordered one this morning. It'll hold DC, AA, AAA, 9-volt, and button cell batteries. Comes with a free battery tester built in as well, so you no longer have to screw around with your multimeter if you're just trying to get a simple check on if a battery's got any juice in it or not. 50% off, $10. It is the #1 bestseller on Amazon in tools and home improvement. The entire tool and home improvement category on Amazon. This thing is the #1 bestseller. It's got 60,709 reviews. 84% of them are 1 star. So you've got and then 12% are 4 stars. So you've got essentially 95% of its reviews above 4 star. So pretty hard to beat. Check it out over at Amazon. I'll have hopefully a full review next week.
I can
Actually,
tell
I
you,
won't.
I have a soft shell version of something like this. Uh, you, my son's reaction for the first time he realized when I sent him to bring batteries from the package, it was like a complete smile and says, "Dad, this is probably the geekiest thing you own."
Yeah, it's not a. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's not gonna have the ladies run into your house to check out your battery daddy, but it is a useful device. It is a very useful
Exactly.
device to keep all your stuff
it's
stored in one
Is that
place.
one of those AI questions that they're talking about? Like when you call into one of those lonely guy sites and, oh, what kind of battery storage do you have?
Yes, exactly. Well, with the name Battery Daddy, you never know. All right, moving on before we get in trouble. Here is a Ugreen, and Gob brought one of these up a couple of months ago as saying that more people should have these. You've seen the traditional hard drive enclosures for a 2.5 inch or an SSD. It's got it's these docks that you slot the drive into. It looks kind of like a toaster. That's great for older computers that are still using hard drives or SSDs. If you're buying a new computer now, for example, the desktop that I built a couple of years ago, I don't have a SATA drive in the device. It's all NVMe drive. So if I ever needed to troubleshoot a hard drive, I don't have a way to test it. This gives you a way to test this. This is a Ugreen, which makes a whole bunch of really cool stuff. They're M.2 NVMe SSD enclosure. It's exactly what the description reads. It comes with a USB-C to C if you have a USB-C device, or a USB-C to a USB-A if you've got a device that doesn't have USB-C. It's really simple. You snap the side off, screw in your NVMe drive. It'll support all the different size NVMe drives, all the way from the NVMe 2230, which is the small drive that you'll see on maybe a laptop, to the 2280, which is the full size NVMe drive that you'd find on a desktop. All of that for just $17.50. You can check that out over at Amazon. And to go with it, I put in a 1 terabyte Patriot P300 drive, which is on sale for $51 as well. That's available over at Amazon also. Maybe you're a little late on the Christmas gifts and you're looking for something, or you're still on the fence about buying a next generation Xbox. Here's the Xbox Series S. Now, this is the one that does not have a disk drive. So all of the games on it you are either downloading or streaming through Xbox's cloud service. But it's on sale over at Costco for $239.99. This thing runs normally about $290, $300. So not a bad sale. According to the commenters, this was the Christmas deal that Costco was offering on this device. So get it for $240, 512 gigabytes.
It has a hard drive. It doesn't have a disk drive.
Is-
A
I'm
DVD,
sorry.
Blu-ray, right? Yeah,
Sorry, let me be clear. It has a hard drive, no disk drive, so no physical media
Right.
on this at
Yeah.
all. You can also, by the way, you might say, oh, 512 gigs, that's not enough. It's got USB-C ports. You can use pretty much any external USB 3.0 drive to use additional storage. I've even got an old USB drive on my Xbox One, the last generation, for storage, and it works totally fine. Check that out over at Costco. Next up, a lot of folks working from home these days, and they might be wanting to get their laptop up off of the desk so it's a little bit more ergonomical. So here's a really cheap laptop stand. This is a company on this. I don't know anything about them, but it's just a little uh, metal stand, and they say that if it's pretty much any laptop between 10 and 15.6 inches. I'm sure you could get away with a little bit bigger, but it might not be as stable. It'll get the laptop up off of the desk. I think by about, let's see, I looked this up earlier. I think it's about 9 inches. It'll get it up off the desk, which is nice. You can store your keyboard and mouse under it when you're not using it, so it keeps everything kind of in one place. Not a bad price, on sale for $9.60. Check that out over at Amazon. Next up, the Logitech G435 Lightspeed Bluetooth wireless gaming headset. We've had this in the specials before, and it's back. This has got you can connect this to your computer or device in so many different ways. If you've got a desktop, gaming desktop or laptop that you want to connect it to, you can use the USB Lightspeed dongle from Logitech. If not, if you've got a Nintendo Switch, a phone, a gaming console that you want to connect it to, but you can also pair it with Bluetooth as well. So you can use it on the go. You can use it on Xbox or PlayStation to chat and talk with people there, or again on your PC. You can easily switch between devices. It's got 18 hours worth of charge time built into it, built-in microphone. Pretty hard to beat for this price. This is normally an $80 headset. It's on sale for $29.99. The lowest price in 90 days. It's 63% off, and it's available over at Amazon. Caught this deal. We don't include much from Staples on the show anymore because normally their deals just aren't very good. However, this is the Acer Nitro QG271. This is a 27-inch LCD monitor that is available over at Staples. It's 1080p, so it's not any sort of high resolution 1440p or anything. But this is a really nice large monitor for $100. 1080p. It's got one HDMI and one VGA port. So it's a kind of a more of a base end monitor, but it does support two different inputs. 27 inches, really hard to beat. It's got 75 hertz refresh rate, so a little bit higher than your traditional 60 hertz. Plus, it covers 72% of the NTSC color gambit. Pretty hard to beat for the price, $100. It's available over at Staples, 33% off.
And a 3-year
And then
warranty.
finally,
3-year warranty.
And yes, and a 3-year warranty on that as well. And then finally, our final product this morning takes us over to Woot, which is an Amazon company, with the Philips Hue outdoor security light. So this is a smart outdoor light that you connect to the Philips Hue's ecosystem. If you have one, you're going to want one if you're buying this light. So you can control it with the rest of your Hue devices. Say it again?
It's Zigbee. So if you have a Zigbee controlled home, that'll work as well.
Correct. It does note that you do need a hub. So this is not like a device that you're going to want either a Hue controller or some sort of other Zigbee device with this. And then once you've got it on the hub, you can connect it with your smart devices. You can use the app on your phone. Pretty good deal for $60. You can check that out, or excuse me, $56, available over at Woo. And then finally this morning, ladies and gentlemen, this is breaking as of yesterday. Sam's Club has lowered the price of their hot dog combo to beat Costco. They literally have this on their billboards now. It's normally $1.50. This has been the big debate. $1.50 for a hot dog and drink at Costco and Sam's Club. Sam's Club is slashing the prices. It's now $1.38. So they are 12 cents cheaper than the hot dog that is same hot dog apparently that is available over at Costco. Many folks on Slick Deals were saying that they were going to cancel their Costco membership and get their Sam's Club membership to save their 12 cents on their hot dog. They did note that the Sam's Club drink is bigger than the Costco drink, and some folks said that they like the Sam's Club hot dog
but
better.
Nick,
So, yes.
Nick, you do not need a membership card to buy the food at Costco.
Correct, you don't. But a lot of folks are saying, well, I'm just going to start going to Sam's Club instead to get my deal.
Yeah.
They did also note that the Sam's Club hot dog is a little bit smaller than the Costco hot dog, so be advised of that. But
Yeah,
buck
12
$1.38.
cents smaller.
Yeah, well, that's what some folks even were saying 12 cents for a less superior hot dog and drink is not great. So the battle is on, but Sam's Club with the current state of the economy shooting daggers over at Costco, $1.38. Pretty hard to beat.
How much
So
is
this
their
is-
rotisserie chicken?
That's a great question. Normally it used to be $4.99.
So this is the beginning of the downfall of Costco. That's what you're saying, basically.
Well, I tell you what, this is Costco because it's all joking aside, these prices. I'm an avid Costco shopper, and I am the person because my work hours are so weird. I am the guy at 11:15 that is eating the Costco hot dog for $1.50 before I head home, and this the big thing was with inflation and everything else. The CEO of Costco kept saying, "We're not changing the price. We're not changing the price." And for years,
right.
both of these clubs have had their hot dogs for $1.50, and now Sam's Club is they're going balls to the wall, and they're taking a shot. I'm gonna sneak into Sam's Club this week and try the hot dog combo.
Sam's Club has a $60 setup fee.
Well, some folks are saying that if you eat enough hot dogs, Spence, that 12 cents, do the math. I don't know how many times you'd have to go. But,
Next time I have a big party, I'm taking everybody over to Sam's Club and we'll get
so, I mean, if you do the math there, you'd have to buy 500 hot dogs to that 12 cents for it to equal out and you cover the cost of membership. But if some people eat this thing every day for lunch, there are people that this is what their lunch is every single day.
I don't like hot dogs that much.
I love hot dogs, especially the Costco hot dog. I mean, it really is nothing.
They are
better.
good.
Yeah. So I'm going to sneak in this week. I'll have a report next week on the Battery Daddy and the Sam's Club $1.38 hot dog. That's specials.
Thanks, Nick.
Oh, my pleasure.
Talking about
The internet, by the way, is freaking out about the hot dog thing. I can't understate how people on social media are losing their shit over.
Talking about discounts. I was going to help a friend of mine to install a camera with coax. And I couldn't find my tool, that little rectangular thing that you put on and you twist it around and it skins it, it strips it the right way for the connector. So I went looking and I found same thing on Amazon. And it was like $9. So I ordered it. It came in, and I had a piece of the wire, RG59, and I'm doing it, and I'm stripping it, and I'm looking, and it stripped the right way, but it also wrapped the ground, the shield, some of it around the center connector.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let me adjust here and adjust there and this and that. And I tried all kind of adjustment. It always leaves some of the braided shield wrapped around the center connector. And oh, shoot. I mean, yeah, you can take something and just pull it out and it's gone. But then I went and I found another one, a different one that's in a yellow color that's so almost like a scissors. And it was two of them for $11. So let me try this one. I ordered it. Wow. just the way it should work. Then when I was looking at something, I saw an advertising for a site called uh, Temu. What was it? Tumi, Temu. It's it's uh it's sort of like the new Amazon. um, Temu, Temu, Temu.com. And the prices there for everything are just ridiculous. I was reading about them, and they said that the Temu is headquartered in the States, but they get the stuff from Chinese factories. So
Okay.
I found the same stripper that I got from Amazon for 11 something for, I think it's $2.99 or $1.99, something like that. So I went ahead and I ordered 3 of them.
How long is it going to take?
They said that you get it by January 28th, but they already said that it's shipped. If you don't get it by January 18th, I think. No, I don't remember. If you don't get it by the date they promise, you get $5 or something back. But it doesn't matter. This is not Amazon next day air or whatever, 2 days shipping. But the prices, I mean, if it's something that you don't really need right away, you can search and see if they have what you're looking for.
Yeah, but I mean, there's AliExpress, same
Right,
idea.
but
There's
AliExpress is not that
yeah.
easy to use. And
Okay.
I actually canceled my AliExpress because I got a device that was not what I ordered. It wasn't much, but they wanted me to pay to return it.
Okay.
And I said, it's going to cost me more than what this costs to return it. So forget it. Thank you very much. I don't know how this works, but I think we were talking about that new Amazon uh, competitor some months ago, and that's probably it. I mean, they're new. They may start getting more and more aggressive in their shipping and stuff, but right now, yeah, the shipping it's a week or 2 weeks to get it. But see if there's something, it's not for everything, obviously, but they have. It's sort of like AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever.
Well,
But it's
Alibaba and AliExpress are the same thing.
yeah
Just Alibaba is for
for
large stock, right?
right, yeah,
For 1,000 pieces
yeah,
plus.
right,
So yeah,
right.
or
So
business to
this is
business stuff.
interesting. It's TEMU. Check it out and see.
What was the name? There was another outfit like this. Wink, I think was its name.
Woot?
That Wink,
Wink? Wink?
WINK, I think. Yeah. Very
Uh,
cheap stuff, Chinese
yeah,
source.
it's cheap stuff, literally.
Yeah, yeah. Wink, I think, was an app. No, not Wink. I'll find it in a moment, and I'll mention the name. But it's like it was like an app that you would use. And it really reminds the site. The site it looks a
Interesting.
bit polished, so they invested a bit, on the looks. I am guessing it's the same idea. I'm all for
Well,
it. I don't have any problem with it
for
as
certain
long as
things,
there's
for certain things.
even with AliExpress, right? What you described, AliExpress is exactly like Amazon. It's a marketplace where
Right,
different sellers sell their goods, right?
right.
So, and they have their own stock. So it's like, it's that mixture. I'm guessing this is the same thing. I am also guessing this is They're targeting the U.S. as their main
They
consumer
are.
base,
They actually
right?
say it.
And
They say it in
yeah,
in
and
the
so hey, let's enjoy it as long as it's fresh and new, and we can make use of
benefit.
it. But
Yeah.
also, let's be weary when things start to shift a bit,
Right.
because as you said, even with AliExpress, right? Sellers they start becoming more bolder uh, uh, about their need to profit as well, and so it's not going to be an easy ride all the way. But yeah, let's start.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. All right. And drumroll. Intel has unveiled its highly anticipated 6 gigahertz out of the box processor, the Core i9 13900KS. So now it's a 13th generation.
13. Okay.
The Core i9 13900KS has 24 cores within its hybrid architecture design of performance and efficiency cores, with the exact fundamental specification of the Core i9 13900K, but with an impressive P-core turbo of up to 6 gigahertz. So, yeah, I guess the 13th generation is not that new.
I don't know. I know
Huh?
of the 12th generation. So
Right. But they were saying that this is the same as the specific of the Core i9 13900K. This is KS. Still, hey,
maybe. Yep.
this is nobody's talking about prices here.
You have to
Ah,
ask
well,
how
it's
expensive it
i9.
is.
What?
i9 is a server. It's a server CPU, right? We're talking how many cores? 24, something like
24.
that. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It says 24 cores and then it says 8P plus 16E. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway,
If you have to ask how expensive it is, you can't afford it.
Yeah. It's like when you go to a fancy restaurant and they don't show the
Yeah.
prices on the menu. That's when I know I need to walk away.
So did anybody see just the story about Dish Network and the uh, Clear or Dark Sky Initiative are suing Starlink?
No.
This just came out on Friday. Dish Network and there's an environmental group called Dark Skies that they want to keep access for astronomers basically and seeing the night sky clear. They're complaining now that the new Generation 2 Starlink satellite will interfere with the same frequencies that Dish Network uses. And they've gotten clearance from the FCC to launch thousands of satellites, and they're gearing up to do it now. They don't have one rocket has to be modified to carry the Generation 2 because they're a lot bigger, but they're going to go with whatever the next launch platform is. So what is it? Don't remember. But the point is that there's going to be a big legal battle going on now for Starlink to put up what they need to compete, because now that they're out there and people are
But if
using
they
them,
got approval from the FCC,
yeah, they got approval, but now they're trying to get these companies are suing now to get it rescinded. So interesting. I didn't realize that
but who are they suing? The FCC?
they're
Like,
suing. Well,
I'm not getting
Starlink has not responded. They're being sued apparently, but they did file it says they've asked, but it's asked to defend the FCC order in court. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because they're talking about how let's see, what generation Falcon 9 can take them up, but it has to be heavily modified. They want to send it up on the next generation, which is just about to be tested. But I didn't realize that number one, that would be a frequency issue. And number two, that the new satellites, the Gen 2, they have permission to put up 7,500 satellites, are at 500 kilometers. That's not low Earth orbit. That's interesting.
Yeah.
500 kilometers or higher. That's amazing.
Why were you
Yeah.
shaking your head? Got it.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
I mean,
oh.
first of all, it sounds like there's a company, right? It went to a government entity. The FCC got
They
approval.
follow the rules.
And now another
Yeah.
company is suing that company that they got approval, right? That's what I don't get. So maybe the FCC is being sued, which is also strange, right? I
Yeah.
would say, okay, I'm filing some dispute with the FCC, but do you sue
It
the
says
So
it
something
says,
about the wording.
both Dish and International Dark Sky Association have filed lawsuits in the U.S. demanding the FCC rescind the licenses currently granted to
So they're
SpaceX.
going after FCC.
So they're going
obviously.
after the FCC. Now that makes a much more sense, right?
yeah.
Because they got approval, right? And so if there was wrongdoing in the way this deal was dealt, right, between the FCC and Starlink, hey, take them down. I don't care, right? It's just I didn't get the idea of suing Starlink for something they got approval for, right? So that's what I didn't
But
get.
it says that the Dish's argument is that the order leaves millions of families receiving satellite television from Dish in the same frequency band vulnerable to interference.
Yeah, of course they'll say that. That's
Yeah.
fine. I mean,
Oh, look at the
I
whole.
understand the grief. I did not understand the method. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of billionaires that are trying to go to space and send stuff up there, I saw an article that was talking about which one is owned by Jeff Bezos? Is it SpaceX?
No.
No, that's Musk.
Blue
It's
Origin?
Blue Origin.
Yeah, so
Blue
Blue
Origin,
Origin, they were gonna charge like what, $8 million or whatever it is for a ticket to space, and you're only in space for like, I don't know, like a minute and a half or whatever. Well, I
Right.
saw that another company came out and they said that they will send you to space for 8 hours and the ticket's only $50,000. And the way that they're gonna do that is they're gonna use balloons. And that sounds crazy, but they had
No,
like
yeah,
video
that's
of this huge balloon that slowly takes off, like a weather balloon or whatever. It slowly takes up and you orbit in space for 8 hours and you come back down. So for only $50,000, you can be in space for 8 hours.
How
right,
far?
but you don't get to ride a rocket. Come
No,
on.
I'd rather ride a rocket.
How
Oh,
far?
okay.
how-
Who's got millions of dollars for a minute and a half ride?
How far did that guy that went out in a balloon and jumped out come
Oh,
back?
the Red Bull thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
I don't
Oh.
know. But he
Oh.
was in space technically.
It was
I
high.
guess.
He almost didn't make it.
Yeah. All right.
Here, this says ride a hydrogen balloon into space. It's pretty
A
interesting.
hydrogen balloon? Did they
It
not
says
learn from?
hydrogen,
Did they,
yeah.
Hold on. Did
It
they
says-
not learn from the Zeppelin that blew up in what was the Hindenburg? They didn't learn from the
Yeah.
Hindenburg
Yeah.
that helium.
Yeah,
or,
but the
nitrogen
Hindenburg
doesn't
blew
work?
up because it got it got hit by high power lines. There's no high power lines at that.
I
level.
understand, but it also is a highly flammable gas that is
Wait,
built
you
in
know,
this balloon.
there's no high power lines, but there's also a bazillion satellites that Starlink
Junk,
and
not
everybody are
satellite,
shooting
but
off.
junk, meteorites and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, yeah, you're not going into deep space orbit. I mean,
No,
you're just going to go through the
it
levels
takes
of
you to the
atmosphere.
edge of the atmosphere. It says so. You're not going to be weightless either. So
We've seen this before. The Hindenburg didn't work. Everybody died. It's not a good idea.
Oh my gosh! Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
But
Well,
this is,
1927
They're-
called.
their crew compartment is very interesting. It's just a round disc with that's windows all around. You can sit in a seat and look out. So I guess you're going to get up high enough that you can see the curvature of the Earth and all that. That'd be something.
What curvature?
Wait,
You're
wait.
saying-
Oh, it's flat.
So
It's
you're
flat.
saying
What are
this-
you talking about?
so you're saying it's gonna cost $50,000 to disprove a flat earther? Ah, That's too expensive.
Yeah.
In a memo seen by The Verge, Microsoft Chief People Officer, I never heard that, Chief People Officer, Kathleen Hogan, announced that the company is giving its U.S. employees unlimited time off. Microsoft is calling its unlimited time off discretionary time off, and it will apply to all salaried U.S. employees. The changes will start on January 16th and that means that even new Microsoft employees don't need to wait to accrue vacation time anymore. Microsoft will offer 10 corporate holidays, leaves of absence, sick and mental health time off, and time away for jury duty or bereavement alongside this new unlimited time off policy. Employees that have an unused vacation balance will get a one-time payout in April.
What a joke.
Still don't understand that unlimited.
I'll explain. I'll explain because it's a double-edged sword. Okay.
All right.
If you have a small company, am I still online?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Am I still online?
You are,
You were
but you froze there
choppy.
for a second.
Yeah, my CPU somehow, for some reason, spiked. I'll
Okay.
check that in a
Yeah.
moment. So, unlimited time off. It's I'm still there. Okay.
You are.
It's a double-edged sword. What does it mean? It's a marketing ploy, sort of. It's a way of a company to market itself to employees because it sounds amazing, right? But in effect, it is actually statistics have shown, especially large companies doing unlimited time off. There's the right way of doing it, and there's the wrong way of doing it, and usually it's the wrong way. People taking time off is suddenly becoming a metric of measuring performance and productivity. And so every employee is suddenly measured to the rest of the employees of how much time off they took. And so when it comes to do a yearly review of performance, right, this is going to go into the performance review, and it suddenly is. So the more time off you actually take, you are
lower.
You are basically lowering your worth to the company, right? And that's a problem. Unlimited time off started off in small companies where just managing the entire aspect of time off was counterproductive, right? And so, yeah, you need to do something. Just let us know. Take it out. It doesn't matter. You'll still, especially if you're paid monthly, right? You're still paid monthly, and it works. When the company grows and unlimited time off without a minimum, right, is provided, then people take below that minimum. And so if you compare Microsoft to another company that's giving you, I don't know, 16 days a year to take time off, now you are actually, the amount you're taking is measured and compared to your peers. And so that number lowers. And that's why big companies, they choose that. It's not completely a sham. Yes, you can take that time off if you want, but it's going to be measured against you.
Well,
So
it might be, but it also, this is a serious problem for industry as a whole. Amnon also mentioned the idea of mental health days and all this other stupid BS. This is unobtainable long term. This because you've got an entire generation now. Well, hold on. You've got an entire generation now that feels that they hate business. They don't want to work. This is evident by their conversation. This is evident in their social media. They don't want to work. They think business is bad. They hate it. And now now they are being encouraged to essentially not work
and
and
get paid.
and get paid. And if the company is going to fire them, fine. But the companies don't fire. They and I just this is to me, I just don't understand how a company can offer this with such with the reason you have PTO, and the reason that the reason that it works is because you have a certain set of time off, and the rest of the time you're expected to be at your job. But now you've got an entire group of
But
individuals.
PTO doesn't work
Why doesn't PTO work?
because it is the entire process of PTO, right? There's a request process, right?
This
And
is
that
still a
doesn't
request
add up.
process. This absolutely is a request. It's at the discretion of your manager. It's the same thing. If you have a deadline, if you have a project due on Friday, and you email your manager Thursday and say, "Oh, my mental health is suffering. I need to take Friday off." They're going to
But
tell
you're
you to go
describing,
pound. They're going to
but
tell you to go
see,
pound sand and come into work.
you are describing, right? You are describing a situation where there's already abuse inside the system, right? Where a manager abuses their control over an employee's life
Where's
in
the
some
abuse?
way. If you are describing a situation where an employee that something has happened out of the blue for them, and we are always looking, I'm always looking at it of where, in what situation where everybody plays fair does this work and where the abuse can come from. You're saying, I am worried about the abuse that the employee will make of the system.
Sure.
And I'm saying I am worried of the abuse that the employer will put into it. And the reason I'm going from that direction is because what we've seen historically, right, is that the ones who are actually abusing are those in control, not those who are have their livelihood is controlled by it. So when
I think
picking
we're
picking your
regressing big
employees,
time.
right? What's that?
I think we're regressing big time.
Can I offer my perspective as
That
somebody that has worked for a tech company that
it's
had this? I so in you talk about you could take as many vacation days as you want off, but you're measured as an employee in these tech companies as how much you're chargeable. Meaning, when you're working on a client project, the client is paying the company that you work for, and you get evaluated on your money that that company can charge the client, right? And so for every day that you're working on a project for a client, you're being chargeable, and your company likes that. When you take time off, you're not being chargeable. And what they're saying is that that's fine. You can take as many days off, but if you fall below a certain percentage, say like if you dip below 80% chargeable, then like Gal said, you're not as efficient, and we have to let you go. So there, each company is going to have a threshold, like it's going to have a bottom line. And it depends, that bottom line will always fluctuate depending on how well the economy is doing. If the economy is doing really well, then not everybody has to be, has a higher bar being chargeable. But that right there is the bottom line. So you can take off as many days as you want, but as soon as your numbers start dipping below, then they have the grounds to let you go.
all right. Again, we are going into analyzing this more. I mean, this is just. I mean, the story was just that Microsoft is doing it with their employees. Whether it's done, I'm sure
Yeah.
there are ways to do it wrong and right, and whether it's sustainable or not sustainable. Yeah, but we're not going to solve that problem here. It was just a story that Microsoft is doing it. That's all.
The
So
other end of this is the crisis we're having now, where there are over 7 million men of working age who have decided just they don't want to work.
Well,
and they're staying home.
I
And
mean,
they're
I'm looking at it. I mean, like Nick said, sustainability. I'm looking at it, and let's make it simple. 10 employees in a company, and they produce 100% each. Now, each one of them is taking 10% of their time and time off. They're getting paid, but it's 10%. Now the company cannot produce 1,000%. So they're going to have to hire somebody else or another 2 people to do the job. So instead of working with 10 people and doing it, now you have to work with 12 employees, pay wages for 12 employees. That,
But
yeah,
there's
I can
another
see the
aspect to it.
problem, but it's
But
still,
that's you're looking at it from the point of view of this is going to be abused by the employee. That's how you're describing
yeah,
it.
that's
I am going
that's kind of correct because the employer cannot
So-
really abuse it.
It's on the employee, on the employer,
Right.
first of all, to hire the right people with the right ethics.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
So
it's not.
there's that.
Wait,
Absolutely. No,
wait,
that's not
wait.
what's going on
Why
at all.
not?
Wait a second, Nick.
Because that's not how employment works in the United States currently. Come on, Kyle, you know that's absolutely not true. They're hiring based on marginalized groups. They're hiring for DEI. They're not hiring the best employee. That's not true at all.
Some
They're
that's
literally
the
companies,
thing.
hiring to
It
meet
needs to move
diversity
to that.
quotas. Look at what's going on with Twitter. Look at what's going on with these businesses. When you look at the breakdown of their people, they're hiring based on a quota that is set up by their HR department for DEI. They're not hiring the best employee.
a lot of them don't, but some do.
Sure, small business does
Yeah.
because they can't have
They can't.
they don't have 600 employees. They have 4.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why the problem is when a company like Microsoft says that they're doing it and suddenly this is across the board and this is how we're going to do business, right? It's going to be a mess. It doesn't matter.
Let me ask a simple question.
benchmark.
Do any of you know of any company that has that today?
Yeah, I work in a company that does.
So you can take off anytime you want.
I have. I think
And how many
I
people?
started in June, right, of last year,
Mhm.
and I was out probably a month this year. And because of prior commitments I had, along with company time off, and if I would have needed to do it in my with my previous employer,
Mhm.
right, it would have come out of my personal pocket because I would breach the limits. And I was willing to do that, right? It's in the previous company. But when I came in, and I mean, that was
Okay,
one of the
okay,
first
okay.
thing I said,
We
right?
don't need.
So yeah,
we don't need
I
all the
dealt with it. I
details
dealt
now.
with it.
Do
Yeah.
you see yourself taking another 2-3 months this year?
Not this year. I don't want to. I'm
Okay.
not planning on.
Okay.
But if I'll need to, if something happens, right? Nobody is going to be phased by it, and everybody is going to work through it.
right.
And I'm probably not the only one. So
How long the
yeah.
company has been doing this?
Since their inception,
How long?
2 years ago,
Okay. All right. Well,
2.5 years ago. Yeah.
I guess it's something that
It works differently when you start with it, when there's a mentality around it, right? It'll be a lot easier to start with it because then you can also identify immediately who is abusing it or not.
that's
right?
let's not
So-
get into the nitty gritty of the thing. I mean, it just as a idea. I understand because you can argue it both ways. So
exactly.
it's-
You need
yeah,
to see how
yeah,
it works.
yeah.
Everybody's arguing the abuse part,
Okay.
either from this side or from that side, right? And so,
Yeah.
with any change, that's the way it is.
Okay. Now, what is that $199 per month Microsoft 365 Basic? Did you hear about that? Price at $199 per month, Microsoft 365 Basic is designed to replace the 100 gig OneDrive storage option with some extra features that sit in between the free option and the $699 a month personal subscription. Microsoft 365 Basic will be available worldwide on January 30th with 100 gig of cloud storage, an ad-free Outlook web and mobile experience, and enhanced security features. The security features
Not
include Data Defender, include data encryption for an Outlook mailbox, suspicious link checking, and virus/malware scanning for attachment.
Get them to lock in that for like 10 years and be good.
Existing OneDrive 100 gig storage customers will be automatically upgraded to Microsoft 365 Basic at the same $199 monthly rate. The main difference between the $699 personal subscription and this new $199, other than the amount of cloud storage, is the Microsoft 365 Basic doesn't include access to the desktop versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint apps. Basic subscribers will have
But
to use the
see,
web or mobile version instead. Go ahead.
that's interesting. So $70 a year, and you get 1 terabyte of cloud storage and the desktop apps.
Where'd you
right?
get the 1
Their
terabyte?
website?
You're talking
Yeah.
about 100 gig.
So that's the personal, the 365 personal. The basic is $2 a month, right, or 20 a year, and you get 100 gigabytes, which is still, I think, the cheapest right now when it comes to storage for personal usage.
Right.
So does
So-
that appear as a shared drive so you can use backup software to backup? Most backup softwares will work to cloud. Like if you, but where you think there'd be
I
any
mean,
issues with
locally,
that?
yeah, you can. You can.
So
a
they
Dropbox.
actually-
it's equivalent to Dropbox, right?
So-
Yeah. Okay.
So with Microsoft 365, I'm assuming you can save to your local drive. I mean, you create a document, you can
Yeah,
save it on the C drive.
again, the same way you work with Dropbox, Google Drive,
So-
etc.
Why do you have to have a OneDrive storage option? With that,
That's OneDrive.
why? To do
That's their name of the drive. It's
I
called
know, I
OneDrive.
understand.
It's part of the Microsoft
I
Basic.
I
so-
understand, but does that mean that the basic will only allow you to save to the OneDrive, and then you may have to pay more money for more storage? Is that the situation, or you do?
Something is being missed.
Okay,
You get 100 gigabytes of OneDrive,
yeah,
right? That can be local. What you don't get Microsoft Word running on Windows. You got Microsoft Word running through a
Right.
browser.
right. But
That's the difference.
okay, so the storage that you get on OneDrive is really meaningless here.
Why? You can still sync your
You can, yeah,
documents.
you can, but you
Yeah.
don't have to. That's what I mean. It's not like their way of getting you in there and you have 100 gig and then you're going to run over it.
Why?
And
You'll still send your photos there if you have cloud
Okay.
storage, right?
that's interesting.
I mean,
$199.
Yeah, it's a drive.
Yeah, but you get $199 per month and you get Word, Excel,
And don't forget,
PowerPoint.
OneDrive is really, really, I mean, if you do not go through the works of removing it, it's integrated into Windows. It's there, right?
Right.
It's the equivalent of in Mac world to iCloud.
Yeah.
So it's there, right? People will use it, even without really noticing. I think it also, once it's activated, it also becomes the default place to store things. So once you hit 100 gigabytes, you'll get a notification of you're running low on disk drive, right? Do you want to buy more? So it's fueling. It's definitely fueling their pipeline. So
Yeah.
but it is a cheap. I remember Google Drive being $2 a month or 20 a year for 100 gigabytes, but probably 10 years ago. Since then, they've discontinued offering that.
Mhm.
I was on that tier for a long time. And up until 2 years ago, I was on that grandfather tiered until they completely discontinued it. And now I am like paying a bit more on that. So it's a good deal because there's nobody else selling that at that rate right now.
Okay.
But you need to trust Microsoft.
And and talking about history repeating itself, identity thieves have been exploiting a glaring security weakness in the website of Experian, one of the big three consumer credit reporting. This is coming from Krebs on
You mean
security.
those who gave us free identity theft protection because they were breached multiple
well.
times?
Says normally Experian requires that those seeking a copy of their credit report successfully answer several multiple choice questions about their financial history. But until the end of 2022, Experian's website allowed anyone to bypass these questions and go straight to the consumer report. All that was needed was the person's name, address, birthday, and social security number. In December, Krebs on Security heard from somebody, a security research from Ukraine, who said he discovered the method is being used by identity thieves after spending time on Telegram chat channels dedicated to the cashing out of compromised identities. So they get your information from a breach somewhere else, and they can go there and do it. And I mean, really, all it means is that, like, you go to a website, and some websites are working like this. Unfortunately, that if you go to their main page, and then you want to go to one of the members page, you have to enter a password. In some cases, if you already have the URL, you can go directly there because it's not configured right. So this is the same thing here. They can bypass the area where they asking you the questions because you go directly to the person's report, credit report. That's a shame. Shame on them.
I'll tell you why, though. I'll
Why?
tell you who's at fault. It's because of the cookies.
Well, yeah, it could be. It could be. You're right. You know,
No,
because
I
they
mean,
keep the information there.
technically, it's because of the cookies not being validated, but it's because you do not like the cookies and you do
Oh.
not save the cookies, so they need to work without the cookies. So
Did I didn't know that there was this is really the last thing. I didn't let me read it. A Canadian system security consultant discovered that an Android TV box purchased from Amazon was preloaded with persistent, sophisticated malware baked into the firmware. So you can buy this is like buying a Fire Stick or a Roku stick or anything like that, but it has malware built in. Now, I didn't know that you can. What can you get? Gal is busy, so he's not going to be able to answer this. They're saying that to avoid such risks, you can pick streaming devices from reputable vendors like Google, Chromecast, Apple TV, Nvidia, Shield, Amazon Fire, and Roku Stick. But I don't understand what you get with those Android TV boxes.
Does Kodi still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amnon, that was the way you could get these inexpensive streaming boxes that kind of got around regulations and laws to go find free streaming stuff.
No.
But,
I mean,
the
were
news
pretty
article said that it was prepacked with malware. That's what it was saying.
Yeah.
they're saying it's built into the firmware.
So
They said that the device in question is the T95 Android TV box with all-winner T616 processor.
okay. So it's a warning. Don't buy those.
Yeah,
bad actor.
but I
There's
mean,
tons of
I
those.
saw it and said, okay, so I know what I can get with a Roku stick. I know what I can get with a Fire Stick, and each one has some not proprietary, but their own programming that they give you through it. What do you get with something that is generic like that? What are you supposed to
Spence,
get?
have you ever bought? Did you ever buy one of these?
I know somebody that did, and I helped play with it, and it was a little scary, but
Okay.
yeah, it was, and
So I
it was
did.
early
I
on.
bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a few of those, and it's you get to load whatever application you want. If it's Android,
Yeah.
you can actually use by some hacking. You can install the regular Android Play Store and then download things from it.
Oh, okay.
Netflix, they don't play well with that. So you can download the Netflix app and you can run it, but it will work in standard definition. High definition only works with specific DRM chips that are signed, and so Netflix high definition would not be available. But then again, you can install the Amazon Android app, right, for viewing video. You can install Kodi as an Android app to manage
Okay.
your library. You can install Plex as a client or Jellyfin or anything like that. You can sideload anything you want on
Okay.
it.
All right. All right.
Um,
That's
And
what I was in.
that complexity is the reason why the person I was helping abandoned it, because there were issues with DRM. There were issues that just, it wasn't worth it. They would, oh, this box that everybody buys, everything is free. Well, no. It was difficult to use, and the services that you might use one day was suddenly gone the next day. And
yeah, especially if you were relying on pirated content,
yeah, exactly. And
because
that's what people,
piracy is
yeah,
being battled all the time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's so, I can get it for $1 a month. I can get access to everything. It's like, well,
Good
buyer
luck, huh?
beware. But look at Amazon. I had an experience recently when I was buying the trailer hitch with working with a reseller who was outside the country, found out he was in Belarus, and was buying returns from Amazon and selling them as new.
As no.
And he wasn't even in the United States, and
Yeah.
used a drop ship location in Brooklyn to get, and I got it, and it didn't come in the original box. It was new, but it was missing parts, and what an ordeal. And he go, oh, I'll find it for you. I'll get it for you. He kept saying, and you could tell the language was a
And you
issue.
can't do anything anyway because
Oh no, what I do, I called Amazon. I said, oh no, we are protected, and
Oh.
we will refund your money. Because I actually said to the guy, send me a shipping label and a box, because the box came, it was literally on my porch in the rain. And it was disintegrated. I sent a picture to the guy. I said, if you send me a box and a shipping label, I will send it back to you. Never heard back from him. And then the Amazon people said, oh no, keep it. We don't care. We're going to refund your money. And then I went to the manufacturer of it and I said, I got the shipment without the parts. And they said, okay, send us your receipt. We'll do it as warranty. And they sent me the parts. So now I have the hitch.
nice. Yeah.
It's a little scratched up, but it is
Yeah.
definitely new. It hasn't been
Nice.
used. But the marketplace is filled with people like this
Yeah.
that could, that's why they wind up with these corrupted boxes.
All right. This time of day. Anything anybody else wants to add?
Have a
Amnon, I
wonderful
made you
Sunday
a
afternoon.
reservation on the balloon.
Yeah.
Really?
It's going to take off. Yeah, you get to actually go to the part of the program is you go to NASA and you do an intensive training thing.
Yeah.
And you should see the picture of the inside of
You
the
wasted
pod.
you wasted your money.
Oh, no. It's your money.
You wasted it.
I just said
All
I
right.
made the reservation.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Spence. Thank you, Katie. You made a special effort to be here on Sunday morning.
What can I say?
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Dana, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM in Wilmington. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave. That's what I do. And you can also go to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection Podcast. That's for survival games and gaming news and some politics. And it's a nice show on Twitch. So Tuesday evening at 7, you go to twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. One word. We'll be with you again next Sunday. Have a great week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.